Hello, everyone. Rick here, unmuted this time. Welcome back to day one of Spring One's Agile Leadership Breakout Track. Next up, we have Ajay Balasankula from Wipro discussing cloud native engineering reimagined by the Cloud Native Acceleration Platform. It's a new tool for me, and I can't wait to learn about it. Ajay, over to you.
Thank you. So welcome to the Spring One Day One. So today I'm going to talk about the Wipro's flagship product called Cloud Native Acceleration Platform. So we are going to understand what is Cloud Native Acceleration Platform. I would actually call it as a container native acceleration platform. So we will see why I call it as a container native, not even a cloud native. So before even we jump into more details about this product, the first few minutes, I would be going over what this product has to offer, what are its key insights are, what are its deliverables, what it has to offer in the market of the evolving cloud economies at scale in the market, especially in these testing times. And also, we will be going an interesting aspect of this session, the demo, where I will launch this product, which is running on a container, obviously on a Kubernetes-based container. And we will see what it has to offer for the developers and how it helps them to improve their velocity and how overall it improves their efficiencies and why organizations will, I'm sure, will embrace and love this going forward. Okay, as we move on, so we have been hearing the word cloud native, but what is cloud native? I mean, if you look at the industry veteran, Joe Beda from VMware, he puts it rightly, and that is what I like to take it upon from there. It is just like structuring your team's culture and managing the complexities, the architecture, and unlock the velocity of the current existing workforce. And most importantly, utilize the power of automation. So that is what I would call it as. And coming to what CNAP in a nutshell, it is a fully orchestrated cloud native platform that is cloud agnostic. It is built on native as well as managed Kubernetes and leverages many open source technologies and bundled together with a lot of Wipro's homegrown IP products, accelerators, generators, which provides the developers the ability to move at a larger pace. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So I just want to quickly, before going into the more details about the product, what does the business leadership reflection about the transformation journey? Because all this is all about digital transformation, modernization, and I'm sure every CXO, it's not just the CIO, even though we call it CIO, of any small, medium, large-scale enterprises today, do face these. I mean, there are a number of challenges, but we have brought in the high level of challenges as part of their embracing of their cloud journey. I mean, unfortunately, due to the current testing times, they are hurt by the budget cuts across the IT verticals. But unfortunately, their deliverables and their thirst for modernization has not gone down. And also the effort and the time it takes to set up any new platform which they bring in, any public cloud provider, on-prem provider, so on and so forth. So it takes a humongous effort to bring them the physical hardware or public cloud setup and the connectivity and ensuring that it meets their compliance regulatory requirements, and the times are huge as you put it on a scale here. And also, what is the choice? There are a bunch of plethora of cloud technologies available. If you look at CNCF, there are like close to 100 plus Kubernetes providers which are certified by CNCF, leave about the ones which are not certified. So which one rightly fits my requirements, my business group requirements, whether if I embrace it as an enterprise level, will it meet the requirement of one business group? What happens to the other business area? So what choice? So they're expecting some kind of flexibility in that kind. So that is all from their mindset and their decisioning. So, and the decisioning itself has to be time bounded. They just, once they have taken the decision and they've embarked on the journey, they are on it. They cannot come back. So these are the challenges, what the CIO. And we have an answer based on our experiences working with the global customers across the continents. So let's move on. So from the technology perspective as well, the enterprise architecture team, they have their own set of challenges. They say that, okay, I have a legacy workforce, but I want my engineers to focus only on the work, not worrying about the platform, infrastructure, and the peripheries of that aspects. And oh, I have a bunch of third-party products which are running sitting in my data center. I mean, we got to have a data center modernization. We got to shut down the data center, remove all those products. So what is it? What container strategy do adopt for these third-party products? Will the third-party organization, the vendor product, does support the containerization or the cloud journey or not? There are some there which do, and there are some which do not. So what I do with not. So those are some. Which Kubernetes does fit? Even the architects do not have a straightforward answer, which meets them. So the business leaders, here the technology leaders. And most importantly, they are always under the pressure from the business sponsor to the business leaders and to the technology leaders to always optimize their costs. So these are the challenges. So the solution, what we have, this is what we have. CNAP, what we call it as a code-ready workspace on a container. So essentially, why do we call it as a code-ready workspace on a container? So if you look at CNAP, the cloud native, it is better tooling and systems. That is what is cloud native. Without this tooling, any new service to production will have high operational costs. I mean, and most importantly, it's not just putting there, it also has to be monitored, tracked, because the number of services which are running on a container, rather on a VMware or the VM machines, has grown tremendously as a swarm. I mean, a mesh of them have gone up, and the overhead of them has to be sized. I mean, the number of microservices architecture has to be appropriated way, has to be sized. So, and also when these engineers started developing, we are planning to give them a ready workspace, which generates the plumbing piece of code base with the set of peripheries, whether it is a container based or in case like a Docker based YAML or Kubernetes based deployment YAML, or integrated with the DevOps pipeline and the template based code base, whether it is Spring or a .NET based, or as we know in microservices, we embrace many different language based, Python or any other, and we bring in different build packs to support it. And the code generator, code accelerators of Wipro of this product does that and pushes it to the code repository and even initiates the pipeline, which we will see in our demo. That is the reason why we call it as a code-ready workspace. And all of this, the platform itself is running on a container, and your application on the fly with the continuous iterative pipeline will also run on a Knative or a Kubernetes of your choice. That is what the beauty of this platform is. You get to choose what Kubernetes provider cluster you want to spin up. We give the developers the flexibility, the ownership of not just your application, but also to spin up the infrastructure at a PaaS kind of an experience, platform as a service experience on a container-based system. So what we're giving here is a CaaS, container as a service, at a cost which is similar to a PaaS experience. That's what. So let's jump in. More about CNAP. Okay, so here is interesting. So what we see here is CNAP. It is an acceleration platform here. So in this slide, at the top left, what we want to highlight is what are the highlights of this product. As I mentioned, the CNAP itself is a highly orchestrated platform, which we will dig into the subsequent slides. So what does the underlying layer looks like? But at an experience from an administrator or a developer persona, it is an orchestrated platform. So, and it also provides curated development environments. What is that is like both the developer and the operator experience at a near PaaS level, the cost equal to Kubernetes. So what does this mean is, with the demand of the environment provisioning, the code generated to create the services and the pre-configured CI/CD pipelines on an automated image gives you the completely orchestrated that eliminates the value adds from the normal SLDC cycle. It also enhances the developers and operation experiences and also thereby increasing the speed to market at much higher pace. So as I mentioned, it also, we can configure, plug and play the CI/CD tools. I mean, we have configured Jenkins and a few other tools, but a lot of other CI/CD products can also be brought in. And with all this amalgamation of this infrastructure, platform, accelerator, generators, it helps not for the new customer, but also if the Wipro engineers and architects brought on to complete a solutioning or a proof of concept and hardening of a solution to demonstrate to the customer who do not have a container strategy at an organization level, conduct it on our platform at a much like 1 to 2 weeks and demonstrate the ability for a much larger pace. And all this at a pay-as-use at a flexible payment terms. So I'm sure this cannot get much better than this. So there are multiples of use cases at a higher level. It's an app transformation level, so where we have categorized it. So many insurance, banks, and other so on and so forth industry verticals still operate a lot of mainframe systems. And a lot of banks are embarking on a journey called core banking transformation. Majority of their systems are still on mainframe. How do they modernize that? So our platform does our accelerators and also have a use case for that mainframe modernization. There are a lot of legacy systems. What is the journey along with, I mean, we all know that there is a microservice architectural patterns for the legacy modernization, but there also needs to be a platform which enables that. So on and so forth initially and all the way to the greenfield effort. So that's what the platform enables here. So here we have broadly outlined basically the deliverables aspect of it. So the outcomes is that you generate the code generators with the standards, industry standards, and all this on a cluster of your choice, running on a container, all which is integrated with the automation. I mean, from the day one, immediately you have the telemetrics enabled with the observability, like whether it is Prometheus or whether it's VMware or whether it's Splunk of your choice. And also we bring in the container security at the backend from our platform itself. And then moving on. So here we just outline like where, what, where, and how basically. So all we have looked at what is all our use cases and where it happens either on Kubernetes or Cloud Foundry. And these are the tools for the various capabilities which can be done. So that's our outline here. So let's move on. So what we have here is KubeSecOps. So all we need is the DevOps pipeline. So here we have enabled the developers with the IDEs. The IDE itself can be launched after the code is generated, and it is managed to the pipelines. If you broadly look at here, this whole process is automated of this pipeline. I mean, it is completely self-service done in the background. And this is the capabilities around the CNAP has to offer. I mean, we do around the migration, transformation, development, manage, build, run, manage everything as such as well. So these are the capabilities that the CNAP platform has to offer. So here is the key features of the CNAP. So as you mentioned, it's an on-demand infrastructure provisioning, which we will see right now. Just after this slide, I will jump onto the demo and come back to the slide deck, as we cannot wait until the end of the slide deck towards it. And it enhances the developer productivity by at least 30 to 40%. And in fact, we have gathered metrics which is more than that 40%. We have the option to leverage hybrid multi-cloud, and it's purely integrated with the advanced analytics and log connectivity systems. We will showcase today the Tanzu observability. And it is a pay-as-use model, what we have seen in the prod as well as the pre-prod development platforms as well. And it is one single control plane for the administrators to manage, upgrade systems, and build resilient, scalable infrastructures. And the platform upgrades happen with zero downtime. Okay, so with this, I will jump on to the demo aspect. Let us launch this platform, which itself is running on Tanzu Kubernetes grid. Okay. Let me start sharing. All right, folks. So here you see this is the URL for the CNAP platform, which is running. So let me move this guy. Okay. So let's log in. I'm logging in with the admin credentials here. So here is how it looks like when we launch this portal, the platform itself. By clicking on the dashboard, For this privileged admin user, we see the list of clusters, the Kubernetes cluster, which have been spun up on various providers. So we will see how, of our choice, we can spin up a cluster. So for the demo purpose, I'll just use a TKGI pilot. As you see here, we have an EKS, PaaS, TKG, which is the Tanzu Kubernetes grid. And we have the ability to bring in, the other Kubernetes provider as well in this case. Let's call it as a demo 1 test 1. And the customer name, this is provisioned based on the customer. So there is one dummy customer, which is provisioned from the managed team. We already have the underlying infrastructure is a AWS, but the Kubernetes cluster is a Tanzu Kubernetes grid that we've chosen. Let's choose a small plan. Let's choose 2 nodes. Let's start provisioning here. Oops, my bad. Okay. So lowercase. So we're seeing confirm. Click on OK. So we should see the cluster getting created. Oops. Let's see. It's running in the background, so we will come back and see. This is how the clusters gets created. So let's look at the other feature of this product. The most important one is manage apps. In this case, what we will see is that how we can generate a boilerplate of a code with the the generator aspect features here, and upload the code base all the way to the GitHub and automate the pipeline creation as such here. So here we choose a cluster called pilot demo. And if there are any tools which are available already installed along with the cluster in this provider are already listed here. But in this particular pilot demo, we have not installed any tools, but we can install any other. They are readily available as such. So click on here. So you see you need to configure with the GitHub account, and I give the authorization here. So I already have a pre-configured GitHub directory called CNAP Platform, and then we choose the technology stack. Let's choose the Java stack here. Let's give the app, let's call it Spring One Demo Service. Yes, we see. And we choose for a simpler piece for the demo, no database. We get to choose even all the databases and whatever the tools. So of course we will use Maven here, and no messaging framework, no testing framework, and we want a pipeline, no cache. This is a demo service, and yes, we need a Kubernetes deployment YAML to be generated, and the default namespace. And we also specify the Harbor registry, which is the secure registry where the image will be uploaded here. The current one doesn't work, so I'm putting a new Harbor registry location and click on Generate GitHub. You see here, it is generating this template code base for this service. Okay. You see here, it's a success case. And you see even the GitHub location where this code is. Let's go and see the GitHub. So I've already authenticated with my credentials. If you see here, we have the service and all the code base generated, including the YAML files, deployment Jenkins files, and even the Kubernetes deployment PKS YAML here. If you see here, the service specific one. So let's go back, and we can even launch into the IDE, which I'm not doing right now. So click no. So you can also download the code base here. So the next interesting aspect here, initiate deployment. You see here, we have initiated the deployment here. So once the deployment to the Jenkins pipeline is done, the service will be accessible. Of course, we do not have any actual business logic code base, but still we should be able to see a application launched. Right now, since the deployment is not done, it is 4.4. Let's look at the Jenkins pipeline, which has got triggered. I'm logging into it. So this is all self-provision. The job has not started. It will be running scheduled way. So let's go back, keep these tabs open here. Let's explore the additional features of this product. So this is one aspect, and another one is the managed projects. So this is the most interesting aspect here. As part of the app transformation journey, you want to do an assessment. Where does my legacy code base do fit in? Whether it is refactoring, re-engineering, cloud ready, making it cloud ready, where does it fit in? So you upload this project here into that code base, you give a name. I'll just give a test one, and the type of it, whether it's modernization, containerization, or a data flow aspect of it. And then once you've done, so for this demo purpose, let's see this, select this guy project. If you go into this details, see here, we even have the app assessment dashboard, which will be running. We will launch the cloud assessment, cloud suitability assessment here. See here. So this is integration with the VMware Cloud Analyzer product here. So which will analyze the existing code base and also produce the recommendation, the suitability of your product. Like the higher the score on that particular one, so it is more suited towards modernization for this particular code base for this example. Similarly, you can bring in the legacy code bases and run this analyzer and look at in an automated way and the number of lines of code, what it does, and look at the scoring metrics here. Let's see if our Jenkins pipeline has started. Okay, looks like the Jenkins job has started. Let's give it a minute for the application to be deployed. Meanwhile, let's go back here onto the product. So this is the one aspect of it. So here we also have another tab for application assessment directly. This is again launches the same CSA product here. Okay. And also we have the integration with the ops manager, the platform monitoring, and even the, okay, so let me click on the platform monitoring. So currently this is integrated to launch the Tanzu observability. So all the clusters that gets created here are the default integrated with the Tanzu observability, the SaaS product offering from VMware. So all the logs and metrics are saved to this one. So we have the readily a telemetry product available for the products, for the applications that are ported onto this platform. Let me see if the Jenkins job is complete. It is still running. Let us see what state it is. Okay. It's almost building the pipeline and it's about to deploy the image, as you see here. In this case, the image is deployed to the Harbor registry location, if you remember what we gave as part of the template when we're creating the service. So here is what the Tanzu observability dashboard looks like. As you see the URL, we have just redirected to the wavefront.com. And coming to the DBaaS integration, there is another data flow session, which one of our senior technologists from the practice is going to talk about tomorrow. And so I would like to showcase about the Infra Dashboard here. So this is an interesting view, which is only available for the platform administrators, which is a one central plane across the platform of this, where we monitor what are the total number of, at an infrastructure layer, the number of machines, how many EC2 instances or whichever the underlying IaaS platform are spun up here. So I don't think the pipeline is successfully done yet. Not yet, but I have another application, a similar one, which I deployed it just before this demo. So I'd like to showcase how it looks like. So this is how it looks like once the pipeline is successful. Since this is just a plumbing piece of code that is being done, so Wipro accelerator, that's what it gives a HTTP call to this code base. So let me see if the pipeline is not done. So with this, there are a lot more other accelerators. I mean, in the interest of time, we have seen only one of it, but there are a lot more to be offered on this platform. That's all I have in this session. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Ajay. That was an interesting platform, and I'm going to explore it further. Please click on the link that should be in the Talk Slack channel to ask questions and continue the discussion with Ajay. I encourage you to take advantage of this chance to ask Ajay questions and learn more about the Cloud Native Acceleration Platform.